Italian opening. Knight c3, d6. Well, d6 is a mistake. I think black should develop bishop and later castle. The reason is after d6, white can play knight g5. So this is the right timing to play knight g5. And if black wants to defend f7 well, that is only one move, that's d5. And now white has three pieces attacking d5. If you take that, knight a5 and bishop b5, attack, exchange, and bishop back to either maybe e2, a7, a4, either move is good. And h6, kick the knight, and knight can move to e4 because white has a c3 knight to connect it. So now white is better, up a pawn, and white also have very good, like decent piece development. And I need to emphasize another position, that is before knight c3, if white play knight g5, this is not considered a good move because black can play d5, basically same move. But if you compare with the previous position, let's say bishop e2, white doesn't have knight at c3, so white is slow in piece development, even though white has up a pawn. So black can kick the knight cannot move to e4 anymore, has to go back to f3 and e4. The knight has to go to maybe knight e5 and bishop c5, like preparing a fork queen d4. And if castle, black can also castle or queen d4. The knight doesn't have a good place to go. So my point is, so in this position, it's good to develop knight, and black should like castle, and should bishop c5. If knight g5 and castle, f7 is safe. But d6 is a mistake because knight g5, the pawn is in problem. h3, bishop e7, d3. Now knight g5 doesn't work because castle, Then e3, castle, bishop e6. I think instead of trade the bishop, I think black should move knight to a5 to exchange the knight with the bishop. Bishop b5, so black can find a way to trade the knight with the bishop. The reason is I think it's worth saving pair bishop in this game. And also I think the light square bishop is a very good piece. We should trade with that. Bishop e6, we can of course trade the bishop, but after white take the bishop, black have this double pawn. It's not really a good pawn structure. White move bishop to b3, take, and a6, defending, like make the pawn protected. So now I think for both sides, the question is, we have developed most of the pieces. The king is safe, the center, we have pushed the pawn close to the center. What is the next step? Where should we launch attack? So for white perspective, it's usually either d4 attack the center or knight e2 f4 attack the king side. So in this game, white play d4. That's one of the best move, I think, to attack the center, and maybe we can push the pawn any further to d5, and later we can push c5, c4, c5. It's good to attack on at the queen side because we already have a semi-open file. And also once pawn reaches d5, the queen side, white has large space. And black take the pawn, and white take that, and now white has a very good control of the center. If you look at the pawn and e4, this is better than d6, and the e7 bishop is stuck. From black's perspective, I think rook e8 is good, and later we can move bishop to f8, we can attack e4, and also if when the knight is safe, we can play g6, bishop to g7. It's good to maneuver the bishop to a better place where it has a longer diagonal to control. But in this game, black plays c5. This is not good. Even though it kicked the bishop, it leaves the d5 square a very good one for white to occupy. And also the d6 pawn become backward. Knight e5 is a little too early, to be honest. I think we should move the queen, double the rook, and move the bishop to f4 to attack the pawn. Once, for example, black moves knight to e8 to protect the pawn, then we can move the knight to d5. This is a very good square to like occupy if we have knight like at d5. So I think white should keep dividing pieces and adding pressure on this weakness before move knight to d5. Yeah, the kicking to the queen, yeah, makes me feel good, but black can exchange the knight. I'll take that with a pawn. No, I think take that with the queen is better because we can keep the semi-open file as it is, and later we can move the rook, bishop, attack the pawn. Take that with the pawn. It closed the center, closed the d file, even though it opened up the e file. But I don't think white is more capable than black to control or dominate the e file. Yeah, and also if you look at this bishop, the bishop f6 is quite good. This diagonal is open. c3, b5. Now black start to attack the queen side. That's good. I think b4 is a promising move. Open up this like semi-open file. And sorry, the diagonal where the bishop can aim at. This is really good. Bishop f4, exchange the queens, a5, rook b8. Can we just push the b4? If you take, oh, I cannot take that with a pawn, maybe b pawn, maybe c pawn, and rook c1. Okay, yeah, black will lose control of the c file. So okay, it was like waiting a bit. Rook b8, yeah, maybe later we can play b4. Rook d1. Then why don't we play b4? I thought this is the intention. We play rook b8. We are attacking this pawn. If white take, we can take that with the a pawn, and these two pawns are really weak. And if the rook goes to a1, we have a lot of way to attack these three like separate pawns, like either queen b7, and later we can play rook a8 to control the a file, or maybe queen d7, queen f5, or queen d7, rook e8. We can control the e file, and black is better than white. We should like push the pawn to attack the weakness. Queen e7, we offer queen exchange. I think this is a good move to offer like adding attacker on the pawn. Bishop e5. No, this is not good because after the trade, white have a very good passed pawn. This is not a good thing in the end game. I think instead black should protect the pawn with rook b6, for example, and we still need to play b4 to attack the queen side. So after exchange, activate the king. This is good. f5, good. Stopping king e4. g4, yeah, it's good. If black take the pawn, we can move the king upward. Oh, black take the pawn. So take the pawn is not a good choice. I think instead g6 is good, because then if you take these two pawns can like kind of stop or block white king moving up, which like separate the king with the d5 pawn, and therefore the rook cannot move around. But in this case, if you take the pawn, so now white can move the king up. The king can not only protect the pawn but also attack e5. And now the white king is really like active. If you look at the black king is really passive. g5. No, this is make the h6 pawn become a weakness. So I think black should try to make the position as close as possible, because the white king is really strong. Rook h1, yeah, how can we defend this pawn? If we move the king, we'll lose e5. If we move the rook, yeah, maybe that's the best move. But I still think the rook can go to f3, kick the king, and lose e5. I think white is way better. Yeah, the king moves to d6. Now white is winning. The rook cut off the black king moving to the queen side, and the king and the pawn and the rook can help the pawn promote. Yeah, so I think it's we don't need to like walk through the rest of the game because the pawn definitely will promote. But that's it.